According to all the latest news reports, Generation X, my folks, my people, my tribe, we are set to be the poorest retirees in the history of retirees. And that is bad news for Generation X. A recent wave of studies has pointed that Generation X, those of us that were born, I think, was it 1965 to 1980, are the illest prepared, underfunded retirement generation of all time. This conversation, we're going to break it down. What has happened? Why are we here? And what can we do to turn this around for those of us who would really like to eventually either dial back on retiring or dial back on having to work into our retirement and or retire completely without ever needing to work again. It's all a matter of numbers, so let's break it down. So the lowest retirement balances that we have, we're below where the baby boomers were at our age. So what does it mean that we have the lowest retirement balances of all time? Well, retirement balances in the age range to which we are. I'm late 50s. Some of you are a little younger, some of you are a little older. But when they compare it against the generation before of us, the baby boomers, we have significantly less saved now than they did at the same age. And that is really concerning. That is a major warning sign. So why do we women, let's talk about women here for a minute, why do we have a lot less saved than the generation before us? Well, the generation before us, the baby boomers, were the pre-1970, had not gone into the workforce in full mass. I mean, in 1970, there was, 43% of women in the workforce. Today, there's over 72%. But let's face it, we have to step away from our jobs and careers for all sorts of reasons that aren't baked into our male counterparts. We have to walk away through pregnancy, to give birth, to bond with that baby. We have to walk away continuously for the rest of that child's life, the 18 years to which we're legally responsible for doctor's appointments and daycare and school and sickness, school activities, whether it's sports or drama or whatever. We're constantly being pulled away. Toss it into that mix. We are the caregivers not only to our children, but to our parents. So we're caring for two separate generations, and we are sandwiched in between. I think they do call us the sandwich generation. But with that said, that goes a long way to explain why we women have not as much in our accounts. There's a lot more women who are planning as solos now than the previous generation. So we have much less in our retirement accounts for that reason. Now, as far as the men folk, why you have less than your male counterparts back in the boomer generation, well, let's break that down too. We weren't taught about retirement. Retirement, according to our parents and our grandparents, was that's Social Security's for. That Social Security was never meant to take care of us in our retirement. The original reason it was done back in the 1930s was to keep the elderly from starving to death, not to live any sort of luxurious lifestyle they'd come accustomed to. No. Before that, you were expected to work till you couldn't anymore and then hope somebody took you in. So Social Security was never intended to be our retirement plan, and shame if that's the way you have lived the last 40, 45 years of your life, thinking it is. Go check the Social Security Administration website for what your anticipated check will be at the different stages to which it comes. You are going to be a little shocked at how little is actually going to come to your pocket. I would do it now in your 50s versus your 70s because you still have time on your side to get in front of this, men and women. Let's go. So how do we make up for this lost time? Some of us have lost 40 plus years. I had lost 30 years of that, 35 years of that. I didn't start getting serious or even really getting concerned until my 40s, mid 40s at that. So with that said, it's never too late to get started. If you are already casually contributing to your company's 401k or another savings plan, kick it up. Cut out a pizza, cut out a movie out, cut out a couple of coffees a week. Whatever you can start scraping together, you have time on your side for compounding and growth. So start letting go of some of those luxuries now and start beefing up your retirement. Because if not, when you have to go on your kids door, basically say, take me in. I have nowhere else to go. I'm tired of eating ramen and hot dogs. Your future self is going to look at you now and say, what the heck were you thinking? Get on with it. In addition, let's take on some side hustles because many of us have consumer debt. We've got credit cards, we've got student loans, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to get that paid off so we're not dragging those payments into retirement with us. So get a second job, get a third job, go deliver pizzas. Down in the description, I have a free workbook, how you can turn your life experience into income streams. You may need to work through your retirement years, at least some, to bridge the gap between what Social Security, what you've managed to save, and what your actual expenses are. And finally, do you know what your expenses are? Have you sat down and actually figured it out monthly? Down in the description, I've got another freebie for you. Master your money plan. Do it for 1 month. Figure out what it takes on a month for you to live, and you can start seeing where you can dial it back a little bit to start beefing up your retirement accounts. Okay, I'm Jenny. I tell it like it is. I'm that friend that will sit there lovingly telling you to get your big girl panties on and get on with it, and that's what I've just done. I post on Wednesdays and Fridays. No, I post on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So y'all come back, share this video with somebody in your life. If your parents are a Gen Xer and you're afraid they're going to come knocking on your door, share this video. Like, subscribe, comment, get on back here. We have got a lot of retirement life ahead of us. Let's make the most of it. Stop recording.